Well, come on, Simon. Where are you? Where are you?
Hopeful playoffs.
6th.
I'd take 6.
Come on then.
Yeah.
Come on. It's like when you're watching these videos on away days on Twitter, and all these young lads are just doing this, popping back and forward. Go, come on then.
Or one of these Jake Paul fights.
I think, from an outsider's point of view, I'm looking at Wrexham and Birmingham and going, that's a bloody good season.
It's abysmal.
There's no excuse, Blackburn. You're an absolute disgrace. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Sportsman Untitled. Now, no, your eyes are not deceiving you. My name is not Simon Lillibury. I am actually producer Seb. I'm usually behind the camera, but Simon's called in sick today because Coventry got spanked by Ipswich. So, delighted to be joined in the studio by Chris Goulding from the We Are Birmingham podcast and Conor McGilligan.
Resident.
Leeds fan. The resident. He's a resident now. Connor, Leeds will be back in the Championship next season, don't you worry. So we'll be keeping you on.
Yeah, good weekend
before we go any further, just want to pay tribute to the fan that unfortunately lost their life in the stands at the Charlton versus Portsmouth game. The match was abandoned, so we want to send all our wishes to the family. Middlesbrough, Hull, 4-1. And Middlesbrough back?
Yeah, to be honest, it was, ever since Rob Edwards left, there was question marks over Kim Hellberg coming in. Obviously, he's only ever managed in Sweden. A lot of really good things in terms of the aggressive stuff off the ball, high PPDA. I've been really impressed with him when he's come in. They were absolutely outstanding the other night. I thought from, even the last 2 or 3 years of just watching BORO under Carrick, I thought this was probably the best half of football I've seen from Middlesbrough. Credit to him. He's come in and made systematic changes, personnel changes. I thought Gilbert in the middle was an absolute masterstroke. Hayden Hackney, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep hold of him in January again. There's going to be bumper interest for me. They were outstanding to a man the other night. And let's be honest as well, this isn't a poor Hull City side. This is a Hull City side who are vying for the playoffs, a Hull City side who are going to be there or thereabouts. But for me, was probably the performance of the weekend. Did you catch any of it, Chris? Or?
Yeah, saw some of it. I'll pick up on the Hull point, actually, because I think with Hull at the moment, they seem to be a bit win one, lose one, win one, draw one. So just a bit inconsistent. So maybe they've played them at the right time on the back of a win and then played that Hull City. But a few good goals in that game as well.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about it as well is, when you saw Edwards leave and you were thinking there was going to be a little bit of a stutter here. Obviously, he plays a little bit more wide. Hellberg plays a little bit more narrow. It's obviously very different in terms of systems, and doing that mid-season can be tough. But I think he's come in and the results that he's got and the system change. As I said, the Gilbert thing in midfield was absolutely massive. And quick shout out to Riley McGree as well, who I thought was brilliant on the night. Yeah, fantastic Borough.
Well, we played them, just to jump in there, we played them before Rob Edwards had actually left, but before they brought anyone else in, and they were well up for it. So we played them at completely the wrong time, unfortunately, I think.
Oh, was that 2-1? Was that 2-1? Yeah.
I mean, we probably should have got more out of the game, but you've got to take your chances. You've got to create your chances and then take them, haven't you? And we just weren't there.
I think they're going to be close, though. I think they're going to be close, especially with a bit of investment. We know Gibson likes to back his men as well in January. Yeah, it's a good sign for Borough at the minute.
Well, Watford came from behind twice to beat Norwich. We thought that Norwich, they look good under Clement. Thought they'd be going out there and getting the win. They went ahead in the game twice. 2 new managers of the division this season, Javi Gracia coming back to Watford, and Philippe Clement. Chris, what was your assessment of that, Norwich-Watford?
I mean, we played Watford, so my reference point was that game a couple of weeks ago when we played them at St Andrews. Very good team, coming from behind in games. They don't seem to let their heads drop. We went 2-0 up, and then it was pretty much all Watford in that game. So, I mean, going behind early against Norwich, and their heads didn't drop. They just went for it. And their squad is very good as well in that they can rotate, and they've still got a lot of energy coming off the bench, a lot of pace. I think they're probably a team that are frightening at any point during the game because of that.
Yeah, I like Kiram Gard up front as well. They're calling him K9 down there now, which I do love.
Great header.
Unbelievable header, and looked like a really good acquisition they brought him in the summer. That's now coming to fruition. I thought in this game, though, in particular, Norwich were really unlucky. I think, they've obviously had a bit of a humbling off your lot not long ago. But I think Norwich, I said they'd be out of maybe the bottom three by the end of the calendar year. I'm not sure that's going to be accurate, but I think they're developing under Clement. I thought Maatsen was brilliant in the game in midfield. So you can see a bit of a blueprint there. You can see an improvement with Norwich. But looking at Watford, I think they're just made for a 4-3-3. I think they've got so much athleticism, so much speed, so much physicality, especially in that midfield, of which they can expose when it comes to games in the Championship. We always know that with Watford anyway. They've got so many good players. Dumbia been a classic example as well. I do wonder if Grazia is a little bit more of a vibes manager, though. I don't know. I could be wrong with that, but it feels like he's a bit vibey. 4-4-2, I think, restricts them a lot. But yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, good win for Watford. And it's a mark of a team, isn't it? If you don't play well and you win, and the other team is probably better on the day, but they can't get the 3 points or even a point, it's a good little marker, isn't it, Chris? So,
do you think that's it's going to be a stretch too far for Norwich now?
In terms of them staying up? Yeah.
7 points off safety.
Yeah, is it that much? Is it 7 points? God. I think with the amount of money that they spent, 55 million quid, the Atenasio's backing them hugely in the summer, and you just thought, I thought they were in my top six. Maybe that was a little bit of a stretch, but I still think they're going to get out of it. But we'll get onto it in a little bit. But I do back Gary Rowett to get a struggling Oxford side out of it as well. So then it's like, who do you bring back in?
I said the same the other week about Rowett. I think they'll do enough, but it's tight.
Yeah, it is.
Well, let's move on to Derby and Leicester. It was 3-1 win for Leicester. On paper, pretty routine win for Leicester. That win takes them above Derby in the league. We've still got the impending potential 6 or even 12 points, depending on who you read and who you trust. 6 or 12 point reduction for Leicester potentially coming. But as it stands, if they were to take 6 points now, they drop to 19th, which means they're still safe. What do you think's going right and wrong for Leicester so far this season? Do you think that this win will push them onto a bit of a run?
I don't understand them, Seb, if I'm honest with you. I don't understand them. I still look at that squad. But you've seen a lot of this season where it's been Vestergaard and Wout Faes. That switched up at the weekend. Nelson came in at the back. Thought they looked a lot more balanced across the pitch, but I mean, you'll be able to talk about it as well, Chris. I can't help when you look at a team going forward with Mavadidi and Abdul Fatawu, who, as a Leeds United fan, I would be going for. If you could grab a player of that quality. I just look at it. I look at the balance in the midfield. I think Skip's a reasonably decent player at this level. I think Jordan James has probably been their star this season. They've just got so much quality. And what I liked about Leicester in this game, Seb, is they were clinical. Only 5 shots on goal, three goals. And normally with the Foxes, we're talking about a completely different story where, there's an abundance of shots and they're not able to put it in the back of the net. Derby, weird, very strange again. Do sometimes worry about Eustace's tactical shifts. Is he able to be flexible in game? I know the Derby fans have been a little bit critical of this. But a really massive win for Leicester on the road at Derby. Not an easy place to go, Chris, I don't think.
No, it never is. We have experience of John Eustace because he obviously managed us for a little while. Got the nickname of the PE teacher while he was at Blues. Football not very attractive, but quite effective. But sometimes you come up against teams and he hasn't got an answer.
Was it predictable, Chris, at points with him?
Yes and no. I think you knew to an extent what was coming, but you'd go up against teams that we'd try and shut up. That I suppose what Derby tried to do against Leicester, keep it tight, and you just don't. And then you're offering nothing going forward. But then sometimes it would work. You shut them out, and then you get a goal, and you end up beating teams that you're not expecting to. What struck me was very much that Leicester had those chances and scored them. Like you said, you'd be having 10 or 15 shots on goal, and you're lucky if you get 3 or 4 on target. It's gone the other way. They've taken the chances, they've scored them, and then it was very much chances for Derby to get back into it in the second half. And it could have been 3 or it could have been 4, or couldn't it?
Yeah.
It's the other point that you made was Jordan James being their star midfielder. We obviously saw him coming through our ranks and lost him as he was moving on. great player. You could see in it a few years back that he had quality about him. He's now, I think, coming into his own at Leicester. Yeah. So be interesting to see what move he makes in the summer.
It must be so disheartening for Leicester, and I get it's fair and points and this, that, and the other. I understand it being deducted, but it must be so disheartening to be just looking at the table now, 3 points off Stoke with the team that you've got, and just have that pending sort of points deduction. It must be a bit of a hammer blow in your mentality, really. But yeah, 3 wins in 5 for Leicester, but that looming over your head is always going to be a bit of an issue, Seb, I think.
Don't talk to me about points deductions. We've had our fair share of them as well.
Yeah, just play fair, that's all I ask.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, because obviously Sheffield Wednesday got deducted more points, so they're minus 10 now, as it stands, with the game at Blackburn being called off. Would Leicester, and maybe it's a question to you, Leicester fans, would you rather have a points deduction this season or start next season with a points deduction?
Leicester or Sheffield Wednesday?
Leicester impending points deduction.
Yeah.
Because Sheffield Wednesday fans have all said, well, we'd rather have it now.
Yeah.
We're going down anyway. Let's not start the season negative. So, same with Leicester. Like, would they rather go, well, I tell you what, let's stay as we are now, see if we can get to the playoffs, and then maybe start in a negative next season? Or do you think that they'll just rather have it applied now?
Yeah, I think I'd probably rather have it, if I'm a rival, I'd want it on them next season, to be honest with you. I think, actually, you'd probably want it on them now, wouldn't you? Because if you want to drag Leicester right down there, then it's going to hugely affect the mentality as well as the points total, isn't it?
Do you think that they're going to have enough, even if they had that deduction, though, to drag themselves out of it? So would it potentially, if they were building momentum this season, take them out of a challenge next season, gives them a bit of a disadvantage? So they would probably potentially want it this season, so that it's not hampering them next year. But for the other contenders, next year it's like, take them out of it then.
Well, you feel like, if they got that, I mean, we don't know what the points total would be if it was taken off, obviously, how much they'd be deducted. But if they're down there, you're putting them up against Oxford, potentially Swansea, Norwich down there as well. You're favouring Leicester with the quality that they've got, 100%.
Yeah. Well, moving on then.
I was going to say, while we were talking about points deductions, because you obviously mentioned Sheffield Wednesday, that's what I was going to say. A lot of people, when that came out last week about the extra points deduction, were saying, oh, that's harsh on them, it's this, it's that. I'm not sure how it's played out, but I wonder whether Sheffield Wednesday have been offered those points this season or next season, and they've gone, we'll take it this season because we've gone anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's why I was asking the question about Leicester, because it's like they're on 27 points now. They're currently 3 points off the playoffs.
Yeah.
If they take that 6 point hit now, we know that it's unlikely they're going to get the playoffs, but it means that next season they've got a fresh start in the Championship. They're not going to get relegated. Whereas if they take it next season, if they somehow manage to get into the playoffs and potentially get promoted, they might start the Premier League season off -6.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole what rival fans have been saying about Sheffield Wednesday, teams who don't like Sheffield Wednesday. It's the fact that, they should be getting in next season where it's going to impact them the most, because they've not been within the rules. You take it away from them this season, they're going to stay up. Sorry, they're going to go down anyway. Yeah. We all know that. So
part of me thinks that these points deductions, when they come in, it should be from the point that it's actually being implemented. It's like, there you go, that's the points deduction now. It's not when do you want to take it or whatever else. It's like, you've got that, that's now. So there's no grey area on it.
Talking about Wednesday, Seb?
Talking about Wednesday, Seb. Take it away. Wednesday obviously went over to Blackburn. It's my neck of the woods. I live over in Rosendale, and it was raining on Saturday, but Preston still played, and Accrington still played. Yet Blackburn Rovers couldn't put 90 minutes in without getting a waterlogged pitch again for the second time this season. It's an absolute disgrace. I spoke to a Blackburn fan. This is what the Blackburn fan said to me. Once is unlucky, twice is embarrassing. More home games have been abandoned this season than home league wins. Players, Val and supporters deserve so much better. But this sums up the ownership. Dying a death of 1,000 cuts. I feel so sorry for the Sheffield Wednesday fans. Give them the 3 points. Fine Blackburn Rovers. It's a shambles. Connor, what's your take on this?
It just can't happen. This standard of football, Championship, second tier, the amount of money that's involved in the game now, even from we're not the Premier League, but being the Championship, it's such a lucrative business. There cannot be. I mean, you'd maybe, if it's completely waterlogged, if it's frozen over, you can maybe have a look at that potentially once, but you're even looking at that and you're scouring a little bit, aren't you? Twice, and we're not even into January yet. It's abysmal, and you've got to feel sorry for the Rovers fans as well. I mean, I saw a couple of videos of it. It's just hysterical laughing at this point. Because you don't laugh, you'll cry. It's extremely poor, and it's another sort of black marker on the Venky's book, I'd say.
Well, part of the issue, I think, from what I've seen online, is that the drainage actually flows into the River Darwin.
Yeah, you were justifying this earlier, weren't you, Chris? It's pretty poor from you.
I'm not justifying it at all. It's not acceptable. But I think apparently that's where the overflow, that's where the drainage runs, is into the river, and that's how they get rid of it. So then when there's heavy rain and the river rises, the water can't go anywhere, and that's why it backs up onto the pitch. Apparently that's the reasoning. But still, the drainage isn't good enough. It's like 90s system drainage, so it
Makes it worse than 1-0 up.
Yeah,
Again?
well, that's a new stat for you. Matches abandoned from winning positions. How's that? Because it's 2 this season.
2 this season, 2-1-0s. And it came to bite them against Ipswich because they were winning that game, probably going to go on to win that game, and they end up drawing it 1-0 in the replay. Or in the rematch, and on Wednesday the talk is that they're going to play that again, which means, I think Ben was saying on the show a couple of weeks ago, we've got 11 fixtures in 45 days. Where are they going to find time to put this fixture in? We've got the FA Cup starting soon. Where is this going to be played? When is it going to be played? It's obviously going to be played at Blackburn if it don't rain again.
Yeah,
well, as well, with the fitness issues as well, and how intense it is in a championship campaign. How many more games can you play in a week, really? How great does the load need to be? So yeah, I mean, it's all Blackburn Rovers' fault, and that's on the Venky's.
Yeah, and it's not even like they're a lower league team that have come up who've not quite got the things up to standard. They're a former Premier League team. They're a former Premier League winning club. It needs to be better. There's no excuse, Blackburn. You're an absolute disgrace.
I think the drainage was last changed when they won the Premier League.
Probably, yeah.
Fair, so.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Chris on drainage. New YouTube channel.
Stadium drainage with Chris Goulding.
I'm on it.
Well, let's move on to QPR West Brom. Is Ryan Mason under serious pressure, Connor?
Yeah, he's got to be. I mean, for me, there's got to be writing on the wall. That squad is playoffs. It's a playoff squad. They've got a lot of very talented players in there. I thought it stank at the weekend of them going a little bit more physical against QPR, who I think can be bullied at the back a little bit. I thought Daryl DK could have come on to help Hegabo up top. Didn't happen. Wildsmith coming in as well. I know the Baggies fans were absolutely seething at that. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know how far this needs to go with West Bromwich Albion, but I don't know about you, Chris. I mean, I know you're a bit closer to the action there, location-wise, but he should be under serious pressure right now, shouldn't he? That team cannot be languishing in 16th spot.
No. Well, we played them a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking to a few Albion fans before the game, and they said if we go behind early, or if we go behind at any point, the fans will turn, and they're just not happy with what they're seeing. And you can understand it. I mean, they've lost players, but there's still quality there. There should be enough. You've got to get the manager who gets the most out of the team for them. Sadly, we were away at that one, so we didn't manage to take advantage of it. But yeah, I think they want better. They need better. They should be doing better.
They should. I mean, just having a look there, losing 8 games, it's not acceptable. Not acceptable for that Baggy side. Quick shout on QPR as well. Borough getting to 9 goals. I think the last time they had someone at sort of 9 or 10 goals might have been Charlie Austin, and I think in another season as well it was Eze. But yeah, quick shout out to him. He's been excellent signing for him. Yeah,
the crazy thing is about the league as well is, as bad as some of these teams are, and as good as some of the teams are, they're still really close together. West Brom are on 25 points. They're only, 4 or 5 points off the playoffs. As bad as they've been.
Tight league.
If they bring a new manager in, or if Ryan Mason can get a tune out of these players and get them playing, they could also be potentially vying for that playoff spot.
Well, you've seen you've seen what's happened with Sheffield United recently. I mean, Sheffield, we'll get onto them in a little bit, but top of the form table. Now, we're not saying West Bromwich Albion's squad is as good as Sheffield United's when it comes to calibre and just depth off the bench, but what it is better than 16th, and quite rightly said, when you're on 25 points and in 6th is Stoke City on 30 points, a little bit of a bounce, something in January again. And you're looking at a completely different proposition here, but they've got to be closer. There can be no conversation, I think anyway, about QPR, Wrexham, even Watford, Bristol City being above West Bromwich Albion with that squad.
Yeah, no, I agree. Bristol City, Millwall, ugly scenes at the end of the game, because we were watching a video before. We couldn't quite decipher what had happened. Just run us through what we think happened.
So Bristol City had a goal ruled out late on, the 80-something minute, I think it was. It looked like the managers went to shake hands at the end and didn't for whatever reason. The only clip that we can see sort of comes in halfway through it with Alex Neil pushing his hand away. Then, is it Knight runs in, pushes Alex Neil, and then all hell breaks loose. Well, I say hell, not a punch.
And what's the stat that you pulled from it? What was the stat that you pulled from that fracas?
Was it about the drainage system, wasn't it?
That's all about the drainage. What's
not a single
not a punch thrown.
Was thrown.
Not a punch
it was
thrown.
just... Come on then. Yeah. Come on. It's like when you're watching these videos on away days on Twitter, and all these young lads are just doing this, popping back and forward. Go, come on then. And one of them jumps forward. It's like watching some jockeys on a horse.
Soccer AM, Frankie Fryer.
Or one of these Jake Paul fights.
Hey, they'll sue us. We can't. We're not allowed. Right, Bristol City 0, Millwall 1. Connor, talk to us about the game.
Yeah, I thought Bristol City were a little bit passive going forward, to be honest with you. It was a tight game. I mean, I just want to say Millwall goal difference, really, I think it's -2 at the minute, which is obviously very decent for Millwall. Third in the table, flying. And it feels like maybe they've built to that point right now where every single year it's been, can Millwall do it? But I just want to talk about Daniel Kelly as well. They've got a 20-year-old in midfielder who's looked excellent in his last 2 games as well. They've got a really sort of young setup as well, and they're all looking very decent. Ivanovic is one of them. Kelly, I've just mentioned. Kramer at the back looks excellent. The defence looks really sort of well organised as well, with Juicy Jake Cooper back there as well. Millwall looking really good at the minute, and that's a statement win away at Bristol City, isn't it, Chris?
It is. I mean, they came to us, and I didn't say so when I was on here the other week and we spoke about Millwall, and I said I think that Millwall fans are a bit surprised with where they are, and the things that I'd read on social media had expressed that, and then some of the comments that came in were like, no, we're not surprised at all, we were expecting it. Then they came to St Andrews and we beat them 4-0, I think it was, and didn't see anything from them that suggested that they were a top 6 side, let alone top 3. So it was an interesting one. But I mean, the late goal would have pegged them back, I think, and I think Bristol City were harshly done by with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's the Birmingham, it feels, especially at St Andrews, can do that to a lot of teams on the day. It just feels with Millwall, in general, they're able to stay in games and they can just grind out, wins, even when their performance isn't at the top level, which it wasn't in this game. It was, as I say, they were probably edged it, in my opinion. As I said, Bristol City were a little bit passive. But I'm liking Millwall this season, but we'll have to wait and see, because I think we've got some teams really vying up that table at the minute, Seb.
Yeah, we'll come to Preston a bit later on, but some of the Preston fans in the comments were saying recently, like, we feel like we've peaked. Like, Preston got so high and we feel like our season has peaked now, and it's like we can either maintain it or we'll slowly drop down. And I think I'm really excited for a Preston or a Millwall to get into the playoffs, and potentially they've never been in the Premier League before. And a lot of people say that Preston are the biggest club to have never played in the Premier League, and I want to see it. Preston are pretty local to me. I want to see Preston or Millwall or even Bristol City get a Premier League shout. So we'll see that. But let's move on to Swansea and Oxford. We were talking on the show last week, or the guys were talking on the show last week, that Gary Rowett loves a relegation battle, and he always manages to seem to go through it and get out of it. I mean, he's not done himself any favours losing 2-0 to Swansea. They've leapfrogged him in the table. What's going right? What's going wrong? And where do you think Oxford are going to finish? And let's look up at Swansea first.
So when I was on here the other week, I said Oxford, for me, with Gary Rowett, he knows how to set a team up for a scrap. It's not particularly pretty. It's not possession dominance. And I stand by that. I still think that's where it is. I haven't seen an awful lot of Oxford this season, but the bits that I have seen from them, when the other week, who did they beat the other week? I can't remember. One of the top sides, I think.
Yes.
So, was it Borough?
It was Borough.
2-1 on Friday night, was it?
Borough,
Yeah, 2-1 on Friday night. Wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was. Yeah,
and it was very much what I've grown to expect from a Gary Rowett side being in charge of us, where it's not pretty. There's not an awful lot of possession, but they'll hit you. They'll create the odd chance or chances, and they'll win games. And I think he's very good at setting teams up to play like that. And anywhere between a relegation battle and mid-table, I think he's a decent manager.
Beating Ipswich at home as well, I'm sure they have. But no, I think with Oxford, this was a terrible performance. I thought they were awful in this game. Looked really poor. Swansea, we were saying last week that they're in a bit, I think, Galbraith, Vopotnik. I think they've got a lot of talent in that side. Timon, who's got a really good goal in this one. Matos, obviously, congratulations on him getting his first win as well as Swansea boss. But I thought it looked like there was a couple of levels between these two sides, which, I don't know if it was the same, and you can reference this obviously, Chris, but it feels like with Rowett, he absolutely thrives on those home games against the big teams, against the better teams, whereas against teams in and around the bottom now, I mean, he got a point, to be fair, away at Norwich a couple of weeks ago, which was last minute. They've not got as many points against the bottom teams as they have against the top teams. That's got to change, hasn't it?
Well, it has. But the thing for me, and like I say, I haven't seen an awful lot of Oxford this season, but I can sort of shed my experience on Rowett at Blues. And that was that he preys on teams that come out to attack you, because then it creates space behind for you to counter into. And that's how he's played a lot. So if there's a team that's set up to play defensively and just pass the ball around, you're not going to have a lot of possession. There's nowhere to go with the ball. Like I say, I don't know if that's how he's playing at the moment. The Middlesbrough game, that was how they look to play. So I can only go on that. I still think that he's the type of manager that they need, that will get them points. He'll pick up wins, whether it be draws or whatever, and I think he'll keep them out of it just about.
Yeah, well, I mean, once again, I mean, next week they've got Blackburn. So if that game
tomorrow,
tomorrow. So next game week, yeah. So if they've with Blackburn,
so that won't go ahead.
They'll be swimming.
They've been bringing on his subs.
But if that is on, don't count out an absolute gritty 1-0 away win for Gary Rowett.
And Swansea to Portsmouth, I think, next game. Yep. So that's
massive game, huge game.
Portsmouth will be pretty fresh because they didn't play at the weekend as well. So that's potential that that could go. Swansea have got one win in the last four losses. So they need to get some wins on the table.
They do. Big win for them though against Oxford.
Just really a point before we move on from it as well. What a volley that was!
Oh. Yeah.
Still rising now, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, move on to Preston Wrexham then. So Preston, we're just talking. I was just praising them, saying that they're potentially this could be their season. This could be Preston's season. When people have said it before, I think last season they were doing quite well and everybody tipped them for relegation. If I remember, I could be wrong.
This season.
Was it this season?
Yeah. People
tipped them for relegation and they look like they're doing well. So look, they go 1-0 down to Wrexham. Kiefer Moore scores again. But then they get one back late on, and it seems that they're avoiding that defeat. I think they beat Sheffield United, didn't they, from going 2-0 down. So what do we say? What are we saying about Preston before we get into Wrexham? What are we saying about Preston? Go on, Chris. Start with you.
I'm not sure that the result is telling of the fixture, because I mean, Preston had a lot of chances in that first half. Yeah, I mean, second half, Wrexham, I know you said we'll move on to them, and Wrexham came back into it second half and could have had a couple. But that first half, it was just all Preston. And the keeper had a game of his life.
He did. Okonkwo, I thought he was excellent between the sticks for Wrexham. Very, very good. And I think he made an absolute worldly save as well against Charlton. Tipped one over the bar, and it was an outrageous save. He looks the real business, obviously, because there's Danny Ward in there as well. But him coming in's been a real revelation for Wrexham. But touching on Preston, it feels like when you look at the two sides and you see Kiefer Moore on one side, I think if Kiefer Moore was on the other side in that game, they'd have won pretty comfortably. But I've got to say, I did say at the very beginning of the season that Parkinson isn't good enough. They should be getting rid of him. We're all talking about Danny Roll at the very beginning of the season.
Weren't you calling Simon out last week for saying that? Was it actually you that said it?
Yeah, that's what
Simon got absolutely slaughtered by you last week for saying this.
That's what you call gaslighting. But yeah, and I have to say, I still believe they're in the top 10. And once again, what do you expect from your first season? Wrexham are going to go again. We know, probably like you lot in January, which is going to give them a little bit of boost. We know they've got a lot of money to chuck around. But I thought the difference in this game in particular was Kiefer Moore.
So you're saying in January Preston need to bring in a striker?
No, what I'm saying is I think they'll bring in reinforcements, but I'm saying I think the difference in this game is if Preston had a Kiefer Moore, I think they'd have won this game. But once again, hanging on in there, and they're just not losing games at the minute, are they, Chris, which is really important.
That's it. It's an important one. On the on the Parkinson point, I made the same point at the start of the season, that if it was me, it would have been, there you go, there's an envelope, golden handshake, just walk away, please.
Well, can I just say, we've been proven wrong on this show. Wrexham fans have been in the comments in their droves telling us Parkinson's not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere because I'm also a Parkinson. We're not going anywhere. We're here to stay, us Parkinsons.
I'm not suggesting by any way, shape or form that he's the wrong guy for the job, because he's clearly got them somewhere in the table. They're not right down in that battle at the bottom, so he's done a job. Is he where they wanted the team to be at the top end of the table? Probably not.
What do you think it is? Like, is it realistic expectations? Because 9th, 10th, what is the realistic? I mean, they've spent a lot of money, we know they have, but is that acclimatisation to the Championship, isn't it, and how difficult that is?
So my thinking at the start of the season was that Parkinson has probably hit his ceiling for this team, and that they should have parted ways before it gets bitter and nasty. Whether it will or not, I don't know. But I just don't think that he can take a team
to the next level,
to that level in the Championship and push on from there.
Do you agree that it's worth giving him a full season?
He's earned it,
because he's
absolutely earned it.
They're 12th. They're 3 points off the playoffs as things stand.
Yep.
I actually don't think that's bad. I think that's good for Wrexham. They've come up. They've had a double promotion or triple promotion, something like that.
Yep.
They're in the Championship. Everybody expected that the Championship was going to be difficult for them this season. Charlton started off really well. They're down in 17th. Birmingham started off pretty poor, but they're up in 8th. There's not, what is it, 2 points between 1 point between Birmingham and Wrexham.
Yeah.
Both came up from League One last season. I think, from an outsider's point of view, I'm looking at Wrexham and Birmingham and going, that's a bloody good season. That's a decent place to be, especially with how strong some of the other teams have been. We didn't expect Middlesbrough to be where they were at the start of the season. Preston, again, Connor was saying that he thought that they'd be in relegation fodder, and they've done well. Norwich have done the opposite. We thought they'd do well, and they've done absolutely horrendously.
Spent a lot of money as well. Norwich.
Yeah, but like, I look at Wrexham and Birmingham, and even Charlton to a lesser extent. Nobody had massive expectations for Charlton, I would say, compared to the other two because of how much money they've spent. I don't know. I think they're doing all right.
I think it'd depend on what they do in January. If they go out and spend a lot of money in January, probably similar to Birmingham, because obviously there's a point separating them. If they go out and spend a lot of money, I think the expectations are going to rise dramatically.
You can tell I'm passionate. My voice goes really high pitched, by the way. But it's not that like Gary Neville. This is Manchester United.
I'm not sure that the expectation level is there from the fans. I think that there are a lot of fans that are willing to give him that season or so before they try and push on, but the expectation levels come from above, don't they, within the club, and that's where it's...
I think that's where we were coming from at the start of the season. It's not maybe, I mean, there was a sort of connotation that obviously Parkinson might be limited to a certain extent, but I do like it from the Wrexham fans how there is like a level. It's quite refreshing in football. We're all like, oh, what you got to look at Danny Roll, you got to look at someone else, Gary O'Neill, whoever. Someone else has got to come in and take the reins. So Wrexham goes to this level, but it's actually quite refreshing. And we see it in the comments as well, that there is a mass amount of Wrexham fans who just want Parkinson to remain, and they'll give him a little bit of time. Yeah. Like you have quite rightly said, though, it depends if the ownership reflects that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they've got that level of loyalty and they give him a season before they think, right, okay, we do need to move on. But if they were thinking promotion, I think that they've got to move on. We might be surprised, and at the end of the season they might be in the playoffs and Phil Parkinson's still there. So.
We're going to talk about Birmingham's situation a little bit later on, because I'm going to bring up Chris Davies and your opinion on Chris Davies in the same situation, because it's very similar. They call it the Hollywood Derby. I don't know why. They call it the Hollywood Derby. Yep. But we'll come on to that a bit later. But we've not touched on one of the two biggest results of the weekend. This is probably the biggest result of the weekend, and Simon's not here. He's bottled it. He's gone, I ain't coming in. We've been beaten. We've only been beaten, once this season so far. We've been absolutely smashed to pieces by Ipswich.
Poor.
Game on. Ipswich are going to win the league now. So, what do we think? Ipswich 3, Coventry 0. As Frank Lampard's Coventry City derailed, Connor?
We even did him a service by not bringing Ben in as well.
Yeah.
Ben wasn't booked for this one, so we gave him the floor to come in.
Gave him the floor to come in, and he says last week, I've done so well not to talk about Coventry. Well, come on, Simon. Where are you? Where are you?
Very poor indeed.
Connor, Ipswich 3, Coventry 0.
Yeah, I predicted it. I didn't predict 3-0, but I thought it'd be... Coventry were always going to come at Ipswich, and I think that's what favours Ipswich, obviously, at Portman Road, the attacking talent that they've got. yeah, Ipswich fully deserved this one for me. What I'd said, look, we don't need to get into the specifics of the game, but I'm reading here what went wrong for Cov. I said that this game was going to test the mettle because you're going away to a relegated side full of parachute payments, an absolute A-star championship side. I said this is going to test Coventry's credentials. Lampard came out afterwards and quelled it down, and he said, look, but there's got to be a response. I think that's the right attitude to have. There's got to be a response to this. Cov are 12 points clear? There doesn't need to be a meltdown here. You're going up against one of the best assembled championship sides, I think, in history, when you're looking at this Ipswich Town side, which, by the way, started recruiting championship players when they were in the Premier League in January, Jadon Philogene, etc. So no shame in this, but I thought they were well beaten on the day. But
before we bring you in, Chris, Ipswich are essentially a Premier League side from last season. If Coventry are getting beaten 3-0 by a team that got relegated for the Premier League, you've seen it with Burnley now. They've lost 5 on a bounce. Leeds, not I know you've got a good result at the weekend, but not massively up on. Yet got 100 points last season in the Championship. Yeah. Is it a bit of a prerequisite for what's going to happen in the Premier League when they go up?
Well, yeah, potentially. I mean, if I'm Coventry and I'm probably looking at an example, I'd be looking at Sunderland, because I'm looking at Sunderland and I'm thinking they had a couple of 2 or 3 really decent seasons and the recruitment was spot on. I think Coventry are very similar in terms of their recruitment and the talent pool and what they've been able to do over the past couple of years. Even the players that they've sold, we're looking at Gus Hamer, Gyökeres. There's been some outstanding names there, and they've got a lot of really good talent in that Coventry side, which is emulated by their position at the minute. But no, I think Coventry, when they do go up, because I think they will go up.
Absolutely.
I think their recruitment is going to be a lot more astute. But yeah, I mean, look, we're talking about the Premier League. I can tell you from experience, it's not as fun as the Championship. But yeah, it's whether or not you're acclimatised to it, I guess.
Well, Betfred have got Ipswich, I think they're 6-1 to win the Championship at the moment. So,
but can I say as well, bear in mind Coventry did go to Borough a couple of weeks ago and stuck 4 past them at Borough, which is a fantastic result. If they'd have gone and beaten Ipswich as well, I mean,
there'd have been nothing to play for, would there? There'd been no excitement.
It's not fun anymore. But yeah,
and the reality of it is, look, they're playing against Ipswich. They're a team that a lot of the people are saying they're a sleeper team this season. They're going to come good back end of the season. They're going to push. People are still saying that Ipswich are going to potentially win the league. Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
So for me, Coventry this season have very much gone into games quickly, attacked teams, and just been relentless, like a boxer coming out and just going for it. And teams have either struggled to cope with it, or they've taken the lead and then sat back, and then Coventry have been relentless in trying to get back into the game. I mean, the game at the weekend, they attacked it, they hit the post, they have one saved onto the post before Ipswich went and scored at the other end. And then it seemed like Ipswich then took the momentum and just did exactly what Cov do to teams, went and just hit them.
Points,
yeah. And is that the blueprint to beating Cov? Because we saw last season that once we got beaten, teams go, right, okay, that's the blueprint to go into games, and then you have to rethink it as the team that are trying to set that momentum at the top of the table. So is that the blueprint? Just have no fear and just go for it, and just, that early chance as well, sliding door moment, because I think if that goes in, it's probably 3-0 Cov.
I can't remember the last time they didn't score a goal.
No, that's true.
You look at Coventry and you're thinking it's 3-4 goals every single game, isn't it? So,
but then what they tend to do is that a team take the lead or get 2, and then Cov are just right back in it because they're shutting up shop. And if Ipswich haven't done that and they've just kept going, then your head's dropping.
Do you think any Cov fans will be a little bit? I mean, it's 12 points. Do you think? You can never take this league for granted, can you? You can't. And teams can... Once again, we're going to get to Sheffield United in a bit, and it's not going to be Sheffield United who catches them, I don't think, somehow. But it's all now with Coventry about just that next game. It's all about coming back and getting a win and getting back on the horse. I think that's what Lampard was saying in his post-match, really. That's really important, isn't it?
Are we not worried with Cov that they might get stripped in January of some of their best players? Premier League teams or European teams come in and go, oh, you're doing well, we'll have him.
You've got the option, though, haven't you, there, of just saying, well, we want this from because we're a team that looks like we're going up, so we don't need to sell now.
Fair enough.
And then you've got to replace them. So for me, you just hold on to them, or you get silly money for them.
What about somebody coming in for Lampard?
Could happen. There's always teams looking, isn't there? So yeah, and then Cov have obviously got to reassess what they do from there. But
yeah, well, Doug King did an interview with Talk Sport recently, and he was playing down that we're going to get promoted. But from what he was saying about what was going on in the background of the club when he came in, he said that basically, I think he was asked, "Are you ready for the Premier League?" And he said, "We were actually ready for the Premier League a couple of years ago." In terms of like the background of the club, and I'm just looking at it going, do you know what? I want to see Cov back in the Premier League. It's all well and good seeing the same teams up and down. Cov have been in the Premier League for a long time. Since I was a kid, I think they were last in the Premier League. Was it LDV Vans they were sponsored by last time? Maybe
Isuzu.
Like Isuzu it might have been, yeah. So look, Cov, keep going. I'm not a hater. I just like to wind Simon up when he's not here because all he does is talk about Cov. Anyway, game of the weekend then, boys. Blades versus Stoke. Fair to say that was an unprecedented result. We did our preview on Friday. It was predicted 1-0. I think you predicted 1-0. Simon predicted 2-0, and Ben gave it to balance the books.
Geneva. Sitting on the fence. Never heard that before.
I've heard Switzerland, not Geneva. Okay. Well, Ben gave it 1-0 to the away team. It was 4-0. I don't think anybody would have predicted that. And if you did predict it, fair play to you. Chris, what do you reckon?
I mean, they just looked on fire. Some lovely goals as well. The young lad, I can't. His name escapes.
Did it feel like the Sheffield United of last season? Did it feel like Chris Wilder finally got his?
They weren't great last season. They weren't great. Yeah, they weren't.
They weren't great.
Well, I think in games, I think Sheffield United fans would admit this. It was maybe a goal, to win a game. It was a 1-0. I mean, they won a ridiculous amount of games by just a goal. I think since Wilder's been in, maybe this time they're looking a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more front foot. I think Bamford's made a real difference, which is funny coming from a Leeds fan. But fair play to him. I'm glad he's got in and hit the ground running. I think Riedeveld in the middle is replicating maybe what Vinny Souza had last season. Souza did a lot of work for Sidney Peck. I think now you're seeing the free transfers of Riedeveld and Bamford causing a lot of impact on that side. Riedeveld's maybe covering the space of which Souza did to free up Peck a little bit. Ollie Arblaster's still got to come in as well, which is going to be huge for them. I am very encouraged about Sheffield United. I think I'm very encouraged about Sheffield United as well. Gus Hamer's obviously recently back as well into that side. Callum O'Hare's probably been their best player this season. There's a lot of quality in that team. I think from a Stoke perspective, though, I'm looking at it and thinking, for a team like Sheffield United, who aren't renowned for scoring set pieces, to look as dangerous as they did against Stoke from set pieces was really poor from Robin's side. I thought he got it wrong at the weekend, and it was men versus boys, but Wilder's teams tend to do that at this point in the season, some teams. So yeah.
Well, they've got Norwich coming up midweek. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But Chris, final game we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Birmingham getting stuffed.
Have we got to?
Stuffed by. I tell you what, though, watching the goals, absolute worldies. So 2 outside of the box. Your goal, fantastic. And Kyogo missing that. Oh, was it sitter from 4 yards out or something? Towards the end?
Where do we go first? Do you want to start with Kyogo? Because
start with Kyogo. Let's start at the end.
I say for me, he's not been getting played, and for a striker, you rely on that match sharpness. When you get in 6 or 7 minutes here and there, it's just not enough. He's missed lots of chances this season, and I don't think so. If you watch that chance back and you watch it in slow motion, or you take a screenshot of it, it's like, how's he missed that?
It's like that Carnu one. Was it Portsmouth where it was on the line and he hit it over?
I mean, it wasn't quite that bad. But it's rocketed back off the post. It's taken a bounce just in front of him, and I think he's misjudged it. I think if you match sharp, you're aware of where that's bouncing. If you're scoring goals and you're in form, you're aware of where you are and you take it. When you're out of confidence and when you're not sharp, it's just a terrible one to come to. You want one to just hit you and go in. So a little bit of sympathy for him, not so much from the rest of the fans. There's when you're winning games, look, we were winning 4-0 the other week and he missed one, and fans were singing his name after the game, and it's easy when you've scored 4 anyway.
You'll be singing when you're winning.
Yeah, when you're 3-1 down and he's missing them, everyone's forgotten the rest of the game and they're just talking about that moment, unfortunately. I think that for me, Tuesday night against QPR, I would play him, and I'd start him, give him the game, and hope that he can get the goal. That we need something different. So.
Are you hoping that he plays his way into form for the second half of the season?
I think that's what he needs to do. I think that's what we have to do as a team, rather than ostracise him and leave him on the bench playing 5-6 minutes.
Because then if you get an injury, and then you've got to bring him in, and he's still not match fit, it's one of them. It's a balancing act, isn't it? I guess that's the issue.
Yeah. I mean, the bigger issue at the weekend was the way that we played. And so you mentioned the goals. We were standing off them for them, just allowing them to have shots. The keeper palming the ball back into dangerous areas, or palming one into the net. It just wasn't good enough all round. And for me, I think a lot of it has been this away form that we come back to, that all Blues fans are. Yeah, it's not been good enough. It's not been good enough. We don't offer enough. We look frightened almost away from home. But I think that we've had such a long run of games now where we haven't rotated the team. We've played a consistent starting 11 where possible, where it's not been injuries or suspensions. And I think that's taken its toll, especially when we're making changes so late on. We're making changes after like the hour mark, 70th minute, and players
becomes predictable as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. But players just look shattered. And we were watching that Southampton game at the weekend, and there were just players that looked like they needed a rest. So for me now, the next game we've got to change it up, because there's no let up in the fixtures over this festive period. The other one was obviously Adam Armstrong loves a goal against Blues, 11 and 11, which is, I mean, just you knew he was going to score, if not a couple.
Similar record against us, but Cienza been in as well for Southampton. You know, the Tonda train keeps rolling. I've just got down here. I won't be too harsh on yourselves. I know you spent a bit of money. I do really like how this Birmingham side is constructed. Got a lot of plaudits in the summer. The Southampton side's won 4 out of 5. They are, once again, it's very sort of similar to the Blades, where you kind of have evidence of Southampton where they're going to, when they start gaining a little bit of momentum, it's really tough to stop because of the calibre of those players at this level, really. And Adam Armstrong looks really decent under Tonda so far. So, yeah, a really good result for Southampton. Puts them... Let's just have a look here. It puts them...
They're right in the mix.
They're right in the middle. They're right in the mix. It puts them a point behind Blues now. Let's just have a quick look at this. From
West Brom up to Bristol City in 7th, there's 2 points, 3 points.
There's 2 points. And let's also bear in mind what we've just been speaking about, that the team... you've just mentioned West Brom, 2 places below in Sheffield United are the form team in the division right now on 22 points. So you expect them to be up there as well. I wonder when it's going to start breaking up a little bit, but this championship season is outrageously entertaining. That's why we love it.
I mean, anyone down to sort of 20th could be involved in the playoffs at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And
I feel like we had this conversation last season as well, where we were saying like it's so condensed, it's so compressed, and we were saying, oh, this team could drop, but then actually no, that team could drop. Actually no, they actually look like they could go into form, and it was just. I think Plymouth was the only one that last season where we were going, they're gone. They're gone again. The rest of them are.
I wouldn't know anything about the championship last season. We weren't there. We were too busy.
Was it Luton last season where we were looking at them going, they'll come good, and they just didn't.
It's a good, but obviously it's a good point because Luton. We're talking about Norwich a lot. Norwich probably in the summer spent more than Luton did when they came down. So you're never too good to go down. Something to bear in mind.
Yeah. Right, Chris. Let's have a quick chat about Birmingham. Realistically, right? Barring the result this weekend, do you think you guys can realistically vie for the playoffs this season?
Yes, because anyone can. Like we've just said, anyone down to like 18th, 19th, 20th, if they pick up a good run of form, could be in there. Anyone can beat anyone in the division. It's one of those crazy leagues. Personally, the home form is carrying us through. I think away we're something like 21st in the form table. Last season, Bristol City made playoffs. I think they were 14th away from home in the form table. So we're not good enough away from home, but if we can pick it up, there's always that chance. your home form can take you through.
Well, it's got to change against QPR, because the QPR are doing okay at this moment in time. Obviously, they're off the back of a win, but I'm still not sure on that QPR side. Obviously, you've got them next. It's the perfect time for Blues to really turn it around there and show your mettle a little bit.
We've had lots of games where it should have been the game to turn it around away from home. Though. I mean, the one for me was, so when I was on here a few weeks ago and said to Ben, I think that if we actually go away and reassess how we're playing in general, not just away from home, because the home form was good, but we weren't playing well enough at home. We then went away, sort of reinvented the way that we were playing and came out fearless. Got, I think, 14 goals in 4 games at home. So we came out and we absolutely went for it. Whether it is a mentality thing that away from home we can't carry that form, or whether it's by design that we're going to be a bit more conservative, which it had elements of that at Southampton. I don't know if it was that or whether it was that the players were just tired because they've had a lot of games. But something has got to change away from home. I don't know if it's going to be QPR. For me, I would make some changes because, like I say, I thought the players looked tired. We've got a decent squad. We can bring players in. But equally, the players that we've got that have been starting games, Patrick Roberts, Damari Gray, who scored a couple of belters in the last couple of games, if we take them out of the team, we've then got Keshi Anderson to come on, who, as much as I love Keshi Anderson, he's, in terms of quality, you can see where it drops off. We've got Kumas, who's on loan from Liverpool. Haven't seen any end product from him. He's very quick, but doesn't really offer anything there. So when we take those starting players out, the quality just doesn't, it drops. So I can see why he wants to keep playing these players, and maybe that's somewhere that we need to try and improve in January if we want to mount it. But
yeah, and that's literally what I was going to say, Chris. Just having a look once again, Seb, at the table, and like we've just spoken about, the difference between the teams now, with how narrow it is, it feels like there's certain teams in there where January is going to make such a difference. Obviously, we look at Wrexham, but Blues are another one where, if the points are so narrow, if you're able to get a couple of quality additions over the line, I mean, we're talking about Kyogo, potentially another number 9 coming in.
I mean, we've got Lyndon Dykes, who I would potentially play against QPR as well, just to do something a little bit different and just rest people. I mean, against Southampton, we were putting a lot of crosses in early on, good quality crosses, and we had Jay Stansfield and Dux up there, and neither of them are known for their aerial prowess, so it was just a bit like wasted balls into the box. I think the issue that we've got is that we're very close to the profit sustainability rules, and I don't know if we've got an awful lot of wiggle room until we offload people. Could we see Kyogo perhaps going out somewhere, which would be disappointing because his movement and everything about his game that we've seen has been very good, apart from the finishing, unfortunately. I mean, Lyndon Dykes had teams in for him in the summer. Could we see him potentially going out? And if we can create that wiggle room, then maybe a striker does come in. But I'm not sure that that's going to be the focus of re-strengthening over the Christmas period.
What's the expectation? What's the expectation from Birmingham City fans and you know, in general from your ownership? Is it top 6?
No, I think at the start of the season people would have said top half, mid-table, top half. Then we'd be happy, and that's still there. We've got a young manager who's coming to. So you said about Parkinson earlier on, and it being similar. I think that it's probably quite different to him because Chris Davis is someone who's coming in and learning his trade and trying to build a reputation. Parkinson was someone who was very much on his way out of the Football League and sort of making his way down. An older manager, and I'm not sure that they're comparative in what they're doing. We're trying to build a future with Davis, and he's, I mean, the football is very different. It's very strategic, very modern, but he's learning. I think that fans are generally very patient with what's going on. We're giving him chances. There was a bit of talk the other week about, is he under pressure? I don't think he's under any real pressure. If we were down in the bottom half of the table, bottom quarter of the table, and we were in a bit of a battle, people might be getting squeaky bum time. But
it's interesting because I think I think everybody would have put Birmingham, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure we've said this on Betfred, I'm sure a lot of us said it, from probably first to fourth. I think every prediction I saw, everything on the general media, but maybe that is just because of what we saw last season. You're blowing away League One, the investment in the summer, but it all you basically, when you see all of that in the summer, you're seeing players like Kyogo coming in. You've been able to acquire players like Iwata. You think to yourself, well, Birmingham are going to be able to really sort of merge into that top four. But if you're saying that there's a general idea that it's just sort of a little bit less than that, and that's just the general media narrative, then maybe it's not as bad as we think.
I wouldn't say that was. I think the expectation level is probably sort of mid-table upwards. As long as we're not in that relegation battle, as long as we can see that there are signs that we're being productive as a team, and that's what's happening. We are developing. Davies is growing with us. Until a few years ago, we'd never seen our team play football, so it's been a learning curve for fans as well, where we're passing it around the back, not to get on the players' back and just say, get it out, get it up. Yeah. And we've seen that massive change. People like the last home game that we had, you could notice it from the fans that we were playing ourselves into trouble a little bit, almost. But we were calm in possession, and it was calmness in the stand. We didn't have that when Chris Davies first came in. People were very edgy. We're growing with Davies, and the club are growing, and I think everyone's very patient. So whilst I think that is, obviously the goal is to get promoted. That's what we want. That's what the owners want. It's what everyone wants. But I think that we'd be quite happy with a season if we can be battling for the playoffs and miss out, everyone will be happy.
So to finish this Birmingham chat then, your expectation for the season, what position do you finish? Realistically. Give me a hopeful and a realistic.
Hopeful, playoffs.
6th?
I'd take 6.
Yeah.
Bit of form going into it as well, a late run. Realistically, maybe 10th, 11th, potentially. I mean, a lot of it might be decided in January.
So we're looking at Southampton. We expect them to rise up the table. So that's one potential team that you think could finish above you. What about Leicester? If they don't get the points deduction, do you reckon they could come above you?
It's hard.
Tough one,
it's such a bonkers league, though, isn't it? Because anyone can beat anyone, and seasons pan out. I think that the transfer window is a massive point for people, because if you can re-strengthen at that point, you bring someone in that's a new signing.
Sheffield United 5 points behind Birmingham.
Yeah. But we've got them in a few weeks as well. We seem to keep playing teams that are coming into form as well, sadly. But
right, well, let's begin to wrap the show up. Let's have a look at some games. We've got some midweek games coming up. We'll start with Sheffield United and Norwich. Massive game for both sides, really. Sheffield United coming off the back of a 4-0 thumping of Stoke. Norwich coming in off the back of another defeat. Connor, what do we say? What we're looking at with this? I mean, I've got down 3-2.
Do you know what? It's not a bad shout. I think we've seen steady improvement with Norwich. I mentioned it a little bit earlier on about Maatsen in that midfield. Really liked him. Schwartau has started to improve a little bit as well, I think. Clement is stamping his philosophy a little bit down on this Norwich side. How long is that going to take for it to get in full flow? I like the Norwich fans' sort of expectation when it comes to it. That's not just going to happen overnight. I think there's still a lot being directed right now at Ben Napper and the ownership, not directed obviously at Clement, because he's just come in. It's nice saying his name as well, isn't it? Clement.
Not Clement, no.
That's what it turns out. Philip Clement. But overall, I think this is going to be a tricky one for Norwich. I think Sheffield United are just coming into some insane form right now. They've got quality everywhere. Seem to have got those frailties sorted out as well. I mean, if you look at the weekend as well, they're going to be dangerous from set pieces as well now. Who knows? But do you want me to tell you the score prediction?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'll go with a Sheffield United 3, Norwich 1.
3-1. I've gone 3-2, Chris. Before we get into yours, Sheffield United 3-5 to win with Betfred, 11-4 for the draw. Norwich 18-5.
I'm going to go with. I was thinking 3. I might go 4-1. I think.
So both teams to score. You've got.
Yeah, I think, but.
4 Norwich, that's like crazy.
not Norwich. Sorry, Norwich fans.
We need balance on it. Where's Ben?
Balance, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's balance there with Bennett.
Well, I'm probably about as balanced as you can get, 3-2. I think Norwich have got goals in them. Sheffield United will just be too strong for them.
Yeah, and is Norwich's season going to hang on a game away at Sheffield United? I don't think so.
No. All right, let's have a look at QPR Birmingham Tuesday, 7:45. Big test. We've already talked about this. Big test for Birmingham after a defeat. A win potentially takes them into the playoffs. We were talking about that earlier. My score prediction, I've just gone a bit boring. On the fence, 1-1.
I mean, for me, we really need to change that away form, and we need to see a change. I think we need to see changes in personnel that just freshen it up a little bit. We've obviously talked about Kyogo. Just mentioning Norwich there was the long-running gag of is it Manning?
Liam
Manning been sacked yet?
Yeah.
I think we need a new one. Has Kyogo scored yet? So we'll
grow your hair until Kyogo scores.
I'm growing the beard until we win 3 in a row, and that's not happening anytime soon. I think we need just a fresh look at away games. Just a fresh. Well, to be fair, maybe it is this run of games and it's fitness and it's just a bit tiredness. Change some of the players. We've obviously not got this is the 19th game now, so we had a couple of players that were on yellow cards and worried about suspension, so whether that played into their heads a little bit and they weren't as physical as they have been, so that might come into it. Have I got to give you a prediction here?
Yeah, well, the odds are saying that it's very close. 7-4 home win, 21-10 draw, 7-5 away win. So it all roads lead to a draw to me.
I think we need to see something different. Last time that I was on here, we came off the back of it and had a 4-0 win. So I'm going to go 4-0.
So you go
4-0 Blues.
4-0 Blues.
Is that back-to-back fours?
Yeah, 4-1, 4-1, 4-0.
Entertaining game.
Yeah.
Go on, Connor.
Yeah, I'm going to back Blues for this one. QPR have done okay this season. Still think they were a little bit inconsistent. And I'm going to back Blues to get a win eventually on the road. So I'm going to go with QPR 1, Birmingham 3.
3-1, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, fair
Is that
enough.
back-to-back threes, is it?
I guess, yeah.
Back-to-back threes, yeah. Right, last game then. Wednesday, 7:45. It's Ipswich versus Stoke. Ipswich coming off the back of hammering Coventry, in case I haven't mentioned it already, 3-0. Stoke coming off the back of a 4-0 drubbing away at Sheffield United. Ipswich, 2 games in the bounce at home. Stoke, 2 games on the bounce away. What do you reckon?
I do feel for Stoke in a sense. They've had some tough games recently. They've had some really, really tough games. I think that's probably why Stoke fans aren't sort of, over-exaggerating the last 5 and not been in the greatest vein of form. But they are, we're also up on Stoke, and Robinson's done a really good job, I think, so far as well, getting the real best out of Manhoof and Sorba Thomas. I think Ipswich are just going to be an absolute nightmare for anyone to go down there and even nick a point. I'm backing Ipswich for this one again, and I think this is where Stoke slip out of the playoffs. I'm going to go with Ipswich 2, Stoke 0.
Ipswich 2. I've gone Ipswich 3, Stoke 0, so I've gone the other way in terms of big score.
I was going to say,
not the other way. I've gone the same way. I've gone the same way, but I've gone for a big score rather than a draw or a close game. Yeah. Ipswich 3-5 to win, 13-5 for the draw. Stoke 4-1 to win away. Chris, are they going to win away?
For me, this is probably the best in recent years that I've seen Stoke, which is probably why their fans have got a bit of patience. Even when results of the form's gone out the window a little bit. So go for another 4.
4?
No, I'm going to
4-3, 4-4?
I think I'll go 2-0 Ipswich.
2-0 Ipswich. So we've all gone for Ipswich. No balance.
No balance. Well, we'll give a bit. If Stoke are to win this, I mean, what a confidence boost that would be to get them right back on the horse and away win it. And they have the capability to do it, by the way. That is a good Stoke team. Robin's a wily character at this level as well. I just think Ipswich are going to have too much.
It takes them back above Ipswich as well if they win.
Confidence is a massive thing as well, and when you're absolutely buzzing with confidence like Ipswich are, and then you're out of confidence like Stoke are, that balance can sometimes...
Momentum, innit?
Yeah. Yep.
Right, gents, before we finish, we're going to finish on a little quiz just to settle everybody down. Right, shirt sponsors quiz in the Championship. We're going to start with Connor, and it's going to start really easy, Connor. Whose sponsor is the University of Portsmouth?
Portsmouth.
Well done.
Not Southampton, no.
Spud Bros.
Preston.
Good one.
Monzo.
I think I know this.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't. Maybe I've just put myself in a hole.
I know it's not, but Stoke.
Is it Cov?
No, it's Cov, yeah. I'm not allowed to say this. Bet365.
Just go in it.
Yeah, I know
Well,
this
you
one
got
as
it, so I
well,
don't know where
Stoke.
we're going. Stoke, yeah.
A stadium
Chris
as
is
well,
up
isn't
then.
it?
All right, here we go. It gets a bit more difficult now. United Airlines. Probably not difficult at all, that one.
Oh, that's... No, it's easy.
United
Wrexham.
Airlines. Wrexham. All right, this one's too easy for you. I'm going to swap this around. Fever.
What did you say first? What were you going to say?
I was going to give you one that you'd get easily.
Oh,
so.
okay. Were you going to give me blues ones?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Fever.
Norwich?
No.
Did you say Viva? Or
Fever.
Oh, Fever.
I thought of
Fever.
Viva.
I thought of Viva, yeah.
As in you've got a
Can
fever.
I have a Viva and Norwich?
You can't.
Okay.
The £1 million question.
I don't know.
Bristol City.
How did I get that Wrexham one? Oh,
All right. Connor,
Terrible.
something that Coventry definitely aren't this season, undefeated.
Millwall.
I just said I was going to give it him. That was so easy.
Is it Millwall?
Blues.
No, Blues.
Oh, right, okay.
RSK Group.
I don't know.
They came up last season with you.
Charlton.
Charlton, yep. Fan Hub.
Oh, I think I know this one.
Got beat 3-1 by Leicester.
I'm terrible at this. Oh.
Corendon Airlines.
Where? Oh,
Got beat 4-1 by Middlesbrough. And come on, giving it away.
Got me, come on.
I can't remember who Middlesbrough played.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, go on, go.
No,
Steele, Hull, yeah. Right, it only says Halo on their shirts, but Halo Service Solutions. Just says Halo.
Started off so well.
Oh, God. Can I have a clue?
East Anglia.
Ipswich.
Ipswich. All right, BC Game.
I'm still stuck on that. Like, I can't believe that we've talked about the game. You've told me the game, and it's the pressure of it. I've run out of championship teams in my head now as well.
Yeah.
Go on, who was it?
BC Game.
All right, let's try and think of someone. Sheffield United.
No, Leicester.
Okay.
Leicester City.
I think I'm all out.
Unibet. A lot of betting ones coming up.
Swansea.
Middlesbrough. My Guava.
Who?
My Guava.
Your Guava.
My Guava, not yours.
Can I just keep saying Sheffield
random.
United?
Just say random.
Sheffield United.
Connor, any guesses?
My Guava.
There's a big fight. They had a fight at the weekend.
They had a fight?
They had a fight. The managers had a scrap at the end of the game. But there was no
Are they
punches
not still
thrown.
sponsored by chocolate? Oh.
Millwall.
It says My Guava, Millwall here. I
Maybe
mean, if
that
my
was
notes are
last
wrong.
season.
All right, Blakely Clothing.
Oh, I know this. That's annoying. I'll tap in.
Go on.
Norwich.
Yep. Baxi.
They're not at Viva anymore.
No.
Go on.
Baxi Boilers, I think they are. Baxi.
Is that West Brom? No.
Nope.
They're sponsored by Boilers, I think.
I'll tell you when we get to the end.
Okay.
Bristol City.
Hey, we're going down in alphabetical order.
Baxi,
here?
Oxford United, no.
Oxford United.
All right. This one's got to be a giveaway if you know the area. Watson Ramsbottom Solicitors.
I don't know the area.
Ramsbottom, come on.
Sheffield United.
Ramsbottom. Yes, Ramsbottom's near Blackburn. Copy bet.
Sheffield United.
You're right.
No.
No.
You will eventually.
Copy bet.
Copy bet. I can't keep saying it because we're sponsored by Betfred.
Oh, sorry. Stoke.
QPR. Midnight. You ready, Chris?
None of that one.
Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United.
Right, well done. Mr. Vegas.
Oh, God, I can see it. Mr. Vegas.
Chansiri.
Wednesday.
P&O Cruises. Come on, giveaway. Easy one.
Can I say Portsmouth? No, Southampton.
Reviva Coffee.
I had no idea, Seb. No, that's
Our guest next week, by the way, is for this club, so tune in.
Borough?
Think not England.
I think not England.
Not England. The only team in the division, I think, one of two teams not in England.
Oh, Swansea. MrQ.com.
Is that West Brom?
That's Watford.
Watford.
Right, last one. The only one you've not said yet.
Are we leaving this segment in? This is an absolute disaster.
This is shambles.
Can we just cut it so that we get all the answers right? All
right, last one. All right, we talked about Baxi before. Ideal heating.
West Brom.
Yay! Well done.
They've got a boiler that walks around.
If you're still watching, I am very sorry. That was probably the worst quiz we've ever done and will ever do on this show. Sack the presenter, sack the producer, sack the guests. Anyway, thanks for watching. Next week we've got a special guest. I've already tipped it up. It's a very special guest. It's a man who's English, but he gets mistaken for being Welsh because he has such an affinity with the country of Wales. He's been on the show before, but he's never been in this studio. He's a former professional footballer. He still plays a little bit, and he coaches at Swansea City. If you've not guessed it already, it's Lee Trundle. Lee Trundle will be in the studio next week with Simon.